In this video, we're going to be talking about sentence openers. In previous videos, we've talked about our dress-ups, and we've been dressing up our summaries with 5 dress-ups: the who, which, the ly, strong verbs, quality adjectives, and the www.asias. And we're going to go through this essay, and we're going to look up the dress-ups, and we're also going to look at the sentence openers, because we have 6 sentence openers we're going to practice using. The first one, number 1, is the subject opener, and we're going to mark these in the margin. I'm going to show you how I want you to mark them as we go along. And the subject openers are probably the most common type of sentence openers. Number 2 is our prepositional openers. So we start with a preposition or prepositional phrase. Number 3 is our ly, so we're going to start a sentence with an adverb. Number 4 is our ing, which we're going to start a sentence with a gerund, but it's easier just to say an ing. And number 5 is our clausal, and that's our www.asias. And the clausal openers are ones that require a punctuation after your clausal because your sentence is second and your clause is first. But if we do it the other way, we have a sentence opener with our www.asia at the end, we have no comma. And we've talked about that in a previous lesson, but we will be going over that again. And then number 6 is our very short sentence. This is a sentence of 5 words or less, and it's kind of used like a power punch in your writing. So let's go ahead and look at this essay. Sit less, live longer. If someone you know needs to get up and move more, comma, these 2 new studies may be quite the motivation. So first we see this if, and that is our clausal opener. So when you're marking your sentence openers, I actually want you to put a 5 so that I know that you did that on purpose and that you meant to use your clausal opener. And if you'll notice right here, that is the clause. If someone you know needs to get up and move more, and then we have our comma. And that's important. We start with the clausal, we have our comma, and then we have our sentence. These 2 new studies may be quite the motivation. So we have these studies may be quite the motivation. Our next sentence, one study showed that cells age slower if you stand more, and it may also be good for your health. So even though we have an adjective right here, we're really starting with our subject. So this is a number 1 because we don't have an adjective opening. So what we have right here is we have a subject opener. And so our basic sentence here is study showed. It showed what? That cells age slower if you stand more. And right here, this is a www.asia after our main sentence. And if you notice, you do not put a comma there. There's no comma. That's perfect. One study showed that cells age slower if you stand more, and it may also be good for your health. This sentence right here, we have a compound sentence, and it's joined by our and this is important because this affects our punctuation. One study showed that cells age slower if you stand more, comma, and it may also be good for your health. Whoops, I meant to highlight that little comma there, but did not. Okay, let me see if I can get it again. So we have a complete sentence on one side of our and a complete sentence on the other. This one, a study showed, and then we have a clause that cells age slower if you stand, and it may also be good for your health. That's a compound sentence, and we're going to be having requirements for a number of compound sentences in some upcoming essays. But when we have 2 sentences joined by a conjunction, we have to use a comma in front of the conjunction unless, and this is kind of the rule that most writers use, unless the sentences are short and they're 5 to 7 words or less. Now this one right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's 8 words, so we're going to go ahead and give it a comma. Unfortunately, and you could have marked this one as your ly word, and it would also count as a number 3 opener. Unfortunately, most people are sitting for at least 8 hours a day. Even people that exercise for an hour tend to sit around the rest of the day. And I'm looking at what type of opener this is. Even people that exercise for an hour tend to sit around the rest of the day. This isn't one of our 6 openers, so we're not going to mark it. We'll be talking about those type of sentences. It's actually, well, let's just go on. The health consequences for prolonged sitting are well documented. And I see you have this marked as an SA, and I don't know what that is. I'm guessing you mean a strong verb because you have it right after. Well, no, that's not your verb. That is an adjective, so I guess you're marking that that's supposed to be a quality adjective. Because what kind of sitting? Prolonged sitting, and prolonged's a good word. The health consequences, and this again is a subject opener. You do have an adjective and an article, but our basic sentence is this: consequences are well documented. So here's our noun. Let me pick a color for our nouns. Let's make our nouns. And our verb here is well documented, are documented. And we're starting it with a subject. Studies show that the more time you spend sitting, the easier it is to get diabetes and heart disease at an early age. We have another subject opener. Studies show is our basic sentence. So we have our noun and we have our verb. I meant to make that green. That the more time you spend sitting, the easier it is to get diabetes and heart disease at an early age. However, this theory has not actually been proven yet. And here we have, however, you have a comma in front of it because you have another compound sentence. However, this theory has not actually been proven yet, so very good. Usually we put a comma after however also. Studies show that the more time you spend sitting, the easier it is to get diabetes and heart disease at an early age, comma. However, this theory has not actually been proven yet. Scientists ran, we have another subject opener. Scientists ran an experiment and altered the time people spent exercising and then carefully, and you have an SA here, and I'm guessing it's with tracked, and that would be a strong verb. Tracked the physical results. And right here, just to point this out, you have scientists ran, which is our verb, and then you have another verb, altered, and you have one noun, our scientist. And this is what we call a compound verb, and our and does not get a comma because we're just joining two verbs. So our basic sentence is scientists ran and altered the time people spent exercising, then carefully track the physical results. In these lengthy experiments, so this is your quality adjective, in these lengthy experiments, and this is a prepositional opener. Scientists gradually changed the sedentary time to see the effects on the volunteers' telomeres. And you have an SA here. I'm not sure what that is because changed isn't really a strong verb. Not sure what you mean there. Telomeres are tiny caps at the end of your DNA strands. And again, we have subject opener. telomeres shorten as the cells age, although this is not always chronological. And right here you have your www.asia, but we do not put a comma here because it's after your main sentence. So no comma there. Obesity and illness, okay, we've got another subject opener, can accelerate the cell age while a healthy lifestyle preserves the cell age. Good, which? Oh, www.asia, and there's no comma, very good. Scientists collected, and I'm guessing this is you've got a quality adjective. It's really a strong verb. A group of men and women all at the age of 68 and drew blood to measure the length of telomeres in their white blood cells. Half of the volunteers then started on an exercise program that was made to improve their health. Right here we have another subject opener. Half started, another subject opener. They were advised, okay, you have a pronoun here, but we count that as a subject. They were advised to sit less while the other half of the volunteers were told to continue. Then we have another subject opener. The volunteers then returned after a few months. This revealed even though that is a pronoun, it's still counted as a subject. They, the scientist, another subject opener. They, pronoun, which is a subject. They, another subject. While in the control group, I got two there. While in the control group, the telomeres were shorter. Here you have a 5. While in the control group, and see this is a www.asia, and when we start it at the beginning of the sentence, we want to put a comma. And we use the rule that we use with compound sentences. If it's 5 to 7 words, it gets a comma. This one just barely makes it while in the control group. Interestingly, there was little correlation between exercise and telomere length. And I'm guessing you wanted to start this with interestingly, which gives us a 3. Interestingly, there was little correlation between exercise and telomere length. Volunteers who worked out more tended to have less lengthening. Okay, reducing, oh good, you have a ing. What the volunteers did in Lewis sitting would be impossible to know because the scientists didn't track their movements. More than likely, the time sitting was predominantly replaced by low intensity. That makes standing, if clausal, to test if this theory is true. Go ahead and put a comma here. A doctor turned to the data. We have another subject opener. The results, another subject opener. Another subject opener. He, and another subject opener. So you can see most of the time, we have a prepositional opener here. I've missed that one. To test if this theory is true, a doctor turned to a database regarding physical activity. You can see that most of the time you chose your subject openers, and you really had one of each type of these openers except your very short sentences. He concluded that standing is not sedentary or hazardous. And usually a very short sentence, something that's supposed to be kind of powerful, and I'm not sure if we could pick out anything in here, but we might say stand more, sit less. And those would be very short sentences if that's how we wanted to end it, kind of with that punch. So that's what a very short sentence is. And overall, this essay looks like you did a really good job on putting in all of your dress-ups, you also have quite a few varied openers. I see that we had subjects, we had prepositionals, we had LYs, we had INGs, we had a clausal. The only one that you didn't have was a very short sentence. And since I went ahead and went through and marked this one for you, I'm not going to have you go back and do the openers. But in your next writing assignment, I'm going to have you do all the dress-ups and all the openers. And so this was just a review of your essay. And it looks like you did a really good job. I will grade it and put your percentage up on Jupiter Grades. And then I want you to watch the next video because we're going to be starting on your research paper. And I want you to be thinking about what you want to do for your research paper and pick a topic that you're either studying at home or in one of your classes so that you can study something that will help you in your classes, or you can pick a topic that you're just interested in. Okay, that's the end of this video.